Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to the historic Lawrence Dumont Stadium along the banks of the Arkansas River for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar. This is Frank Martinez. I'll be your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. Tonight's game features the visiting team, the Liberal Kansas Beejays, versus the home team, the San Diego, Texas Angels. Here's the starting lineups for today's game. First of all, for the BJs, leading off and playing second base will be number 1, Jonathan Tapia. Batting second, the left fielder, number 37, Dane Simon. Batting third and playing third base will be number 8, Tom Lichty. Batting fourth and playing right field will be number 29, Brock Burton. Batting fifth and DH will be number 28, Jack Crowell. Batting sixth and catching will be number 6, Nick Thornquist. Batting seventh and playing center field will be number 21, Clint Allen. Batting eighth and playing first base, number 12, Dylan Paul. Batting ninth and playing shortstop will be number 11, R.J. Pearson. And pitching for Liberal will be number 20, Jake Hamilton. Here's the starting lineup for San Antonio, Texas Angels. Leading off and playing shortstop will be number 11, Jack Wisniewski. Batting second, the center fielder, number 34, Ian Bailey. Batting third and playing third base will be number 13, Jose Diaz. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 40, Nicholas Hamill. Batting fifth and playing second base will be number 1, Ryan Kincaid. Batting sixth and DH will be number 4, Garrett Wilkinson. Batting seventh and playing left field, number 26, Dylan Stump. And batting eighth and catching will be number 15, Spencer Lloyd. Batting ninth and playing right field, number 12, Ryan Ramsey. And pitching for San Antonio will be number 23, Ryan Jennings. San Antonio, Texas Angels are coached by Howard Palmer, and BJs are coached by Bill Clay and Eric Olmstead. Our umpires for today's games: at home plate is Josh Shepis, and at first base, Ben Harlow. Third base, Lance Vaughn. San Antonio comes out of the Syntex Collegiate Baseball League, and Liberal comes out of the Jayhawk Baseball League. We're ready to get started. Leading off for Liberal will be the second baseman, number 1, Jonathan Tapia. Jonathan's coming in batting .283 as he's been up to bat 7 times in this tournament. Has 2 hits. He scored 4 runs, and it does have a triple. 2 base on balls, hit by pitch 1 time, and has a strikeout also. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike as we're underway Once again, on the mound for San Antonio is number 23, Ryan Jennings. There's a foul ball. 1-2 now the count to Jonathan Tapia. And a pitch high by Jennings. I guess that's the first ball of the ball game. Scoreboard had already a ball up. So now the count is 2-2 as that one's outside. We're underway here. Our 9:30 game starting at about 10:10 here this evening. A fly ball to the first baseman. Hamill gets under it, makes the catch for out number 1. That's going to bring up the left fielder, number 37, Dane Simon. Simon has played in 2 games here in the tournament. He is batting .250. He is 2 out of 8. Has 5 runs scored. Has walked twice and has struck out twice. First pitch was a ball. And here's the pitch by Jennings. Ball hit right over the second baseman's head. Kincaid can't get to it. Ball goes into right field. Ramsey tosses it back to Kincaid. And Simon is in with his first hit of the game. The looper for the base hit. That brings up the third baseman, number 8, Tom Lichty. Lichty is coming in batting .333. He has played in 2 games here in the World Series. Been up to bat 9 times, has 3 hits and 2 RBIs, 1 base on balls and 1 strikeout. And calls strike 1 by home plate umpire Josh Sheppas. 0-1 the count. Runner at first base with 1 out here in the top half of the first inning between the Liberal Beejays and the San Antonio Angels. Little toss over to first base, and Simon heads back. Here comes the pitch by Jennings. It's fouled off by Lichty. So the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes down to the left-handed batter. And here's Jennings' pitch. Fouled off. Back over our heads. Lichty is from Reno, Nevada. He is a 5'10", 175 pounders. He's a sophomore out of Kansas. Ball thrown over to first base, and Simon is in safely. Count still no balls, 2 strikes here on third baseman number 8, Tom Lichty. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and the Simon heads down to second base with a stolen base, which is going to bring up the right fielder, number 29, Brock Burton. And here comes Jennings' pitch. That's high for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Now runner at second base. Simon, who went on the strikeout by Lichty, made it in safely to second base. Trying to find Burton. Burton is batting .500. He's been up to bat 4 times. He's only played in 1 game here in the World Series. He has 2 hits, 1 run scored, and he has 4 RBIs. And the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike now to Brock Burton. And Jennings comes with the throw into home, and it's going to be foul right down the first base line. Fielded by Hamill. So the count's 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Brock Burton. See if I can give you some information about Mr. Burton here. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to be the end of the first inning. So no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 1/2 inning play, it's a BJ 0 and San Antonio coming to bat. We'll be right back.
Guess how much I got this seat for? Only $5. Yes, $5 because of our $5 baseball nights. And our $5 baseball starts Sunday, July 29th and goes till Thursday, August 2nd. And then we will have our final $5 baseball night on Tuesday, August 7th. So make sure to go pick up your $5 baseball vouchers at Goodwill and Quick Trip in the Wichita area.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium along the banks of the Arkansas River for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. We are on day 5 here of the World Series. The Liberal Beejays are out of the Jayhawk League. They come in, they're 1-1 in this tournament. And the San Antonio, Texas Angels come from the Syntex Collegiate Baseball League, and they're 2-0 so far in this tournament. Leading off in the bottom half of the first inning for San Antonio will be the shortstop number 11, Jack Wisniewski. Wisniewski's coming in batting .375. He has played in 2 games so far in the World Series. He's been up to bat 8 times. Has 3 hits, scored 2 runs, has a double and 3 RBIs. Left-handed batter. And there's a ball hit to the third baseman, Lichtai. Lichtai throws the ball over Paul's head. And looks like Wisniewski will be ending up at second base on that error from the third baseman, Lichtai.
Center fielder number 34, Ian Bailey.
That brings up the center fielder number 34, Ian Bailey. Bailey comes in batting .429. He has played in 2 games. Been up to bat 7 times. Has 3 hits, 3 runs scored, 1 double, 1 home run, and 2 RBIs. So he's in a good spot right now with a runner at second base on that error by Lichty. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes now to Ian Bailey. Ian Bailey is from San Antonio, Texas. He is a 6-foot, 200-pounder. Looks like he's a sophomore from Grambling. Hamilton is on the mound, and he evens up the count. There's a foul ball. Scorekeeper has now put another ball up, so it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bailey. Here in the bottom half of the first inning, and we have no score, but we do have a runner at second base. There's another foul ball along the right-hand side. Kids scramble to go get a souvenir, NBC souvenir, courtesy powered by Westar Energy. So the count's 2-2 now to Bailey. And here's Hamilton's pitch. Fouled off. So the count's going to stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Hamilton is on the mound for Liberal. Hamilton is from Durant, Oklahoma. 6'4", 195-pounder from Ross State. He's a sophomore. The ball was hit to Lichty. Goes to Paul for out number 1. Play goes 5-3 for out number 1. Brings up the third baseman, number 13, Jose Diaz. Diaz has played in both games here for San Antonio. He is batting .222, been up to bat 9 times. He has 2 hits. He has scored 3 runs, has 1 triple, and 2 RBIs. First pitch was a strike. 0-1 the count now to Diaz. Hamilton just misses outside. So the count goes even at 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out with a runner at second base here in the bottom half of the first inning. This game between the San Antonio Angels and the Liberal Kansas Beejays. That one gets away from the catcher. Wisniewski hustles down to third base. So now he's going to be at third base with 1 out. See if Diaz can put the ball in play and give the Angels the early lead here in the ball game. Ball pitched is high. 3-1 now the count to Jose Diaz. And it's ball 4 now to Diaz, so he'll take his base. And that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, first baseman, number 40, Nicholas Hamill.
First baseman number 40, Nick Hamill.
Hamill comes in, played both games for San Antonio. He's batting .400. He's been up to bat 10 times, has 4 hits, has scored 2 runs. There went Diaz to second base.
Another Still on Base brought to you by Sam's Club, the only place you can find Pentax lenses. Plus members also get 20%.
So now we have runners at second and third
Sam's Club booth for more details.
with 1 out. As Wisniewski ended up at second base on an error from the third baseman. And Diaz reached on with a walk, but just stowed a base. So the count now goes to 1 ball, 1 strike to Nick Hamill. And here comes Hamilton's pitch. It's hit to the right side. That's going to score a run. Gets by the second baseman, Tapia. 1 run scores. And here comes Diaz. And the throw was in, but not in time. So 2 runs will score on a base hit by Nick Hamill along the right-hand side as it got by the second baseman, Tapia. So he ends up at first base, and he gets 2 RBIs. And it's going to bring up the second baseman, number 1, Ryan Kincaid. Ryan Kincaid comes in batting .444. He's been up to bat 9 times, has 4 hits, has scored 4 runs, a double. And the first pitch was a ball to him. 2-0 in favor of San Antonio here in the bottom half of the first inning. And San Antonio's already putting up some crooked numbers. There's a pitch high. So the count goes. That one misses outside. Two balls and no strikes is the count to Ryan Kincaid, second baseman for San Antonio. Hamill at first base, and we have one out here in the bottom half of the first inning. The score, San Antonio Angels 2 and the Liberal Beejays 0. Hamill misses outside. That is ball 4. I thought that the scorekeeper missed another ball. I'm not going to trust the scorekeeper anymore. All right, here we go. Designated hitter now is number 4, Garrett Wilkinson. And here comes coach for Liberal. Come out to talk to Hamilton. There is some action out the BJ's bullpen. Looks like it's number 33 up throwing for Liberal. 33 will be Jared Scott, a right-handed pitcher. But Hamilton's going to stay in for now. All right, now batting is designated hitter number 4, Garrett Wilkinson. We have Hamill at second base as he reached on a base hit on the right side and scored 2 RBIs. And Kincaid at first base reached on a walk. First pitch is outside, so the count goes to 1 ball, no strikes to Garrett Wilkinson. Beautiful evening here in Wichita, Kansas, as we're in day 5 of the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. 2-0 now the count to Wilkinson. And that misses outside by Hamilton. Wilkinson is from San Antonio, Texas. He's a 6 foot, 205 pounders. Looks like he went to Midland College, and that is ball 4 to Wilkinson. He's going to take his walk to first, which is going to move Hamill to third base. Kincaid moves to second base, and now catcher Thornquist goes out to talk to Hamilton, which will give Scott a little bit more chance to warm up out in the bullpen. All right, we're ready to go. Now up to bat is the left fielder, number 26, Dylan Stumpf. Stumpf is a right-handed batter. There's the first pitch, called strike 1 by home plate umpire Josh Shepis. So 0-1 the count now. And that's down low. Nice stop there by the catcher Thornquist. 1 ball, 1 strike. Base is full with 1 out. There's a foul ball. The count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Stumpf is batting .500 here in the World Series, as he's been up to bat 8 times and has 4 hits, scored 1 run, has a double, and 4 RBIs. And there's another foul ball hanging tough up there at the home plate. As the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes still. And here comes Hamilton's pitch. Call strike 3. Nice pitch on the outside corner to get his second out of the inning. The first strikeout for Jake Hamilton. He needed that one. Now coming up to bat will be the catcher, number 15, Spencer Lloyd. Because Hamilton's already thrown 25 pitches here in the bottom half of the first inning. And the 26 is a swinging strike 1. So 0-1 to Spencer Lloyd. And there's another swinging strike 2. So Hamilton finally gets ahead of a batter as Lloyd goes down 0-2. And that's called strike three. So Hamilton strikes out the last two batters, but not before the San Antonio Angels scored 2 runs. So at the end of 1, it is the Angels 2 and the Beejays 0. We'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium as you're watching the Liberal Kansas Beejays versus the San Antonio, Texas Angels. The Angels scored 2 runs in the bottom half of the first inning to take that 2-0 lead. And Liberal will now be coming up to bat for the second time here in this ball game. Leading off for the Beejays will be the designated hitter, number 28, Jake Crowell. And we have a penalty. Ball 1. Ryan Jennings did not throw the ball before the 90 seconds was up, so the batter, Crowell, gets a ball. There is a hard hit ball up the middle. On a base hit by Crowell. Reaches for the first time here. That's going to bring up the catcher, number 6, Nick Thornquist. And Nick, this is going to be his first time batting here in the World Series. So we'll see what he does. First pitch hit to the shortstop. Wisniewski goes to Kincaid and over to Hamill for the double play. Nice job there by Wisniewski to get that ball over to Kincaid. Nice turn by Kincaid to double up Thornquist. It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 21, Clint Allen. That goes 6-4, 6-4-3 for the double play. And Jennings' first pitch is outside. Clint Allen has played in both ball games. He comes in batting .286. He's been up the bat 7 times, has 2 hits. And the count goes 2-0. There's a pitch missing inside. So 3-0 to count now to Clint Allen. As Ryan Jennings got out of a jam here in the second inning by making Thornquist hit into a double play, but he puts on Allen on ball 4. That's going to bring up the first baseman, number 12, Dylan Paul. Paul has played in 2 games. He's batting .143, been up the bat 7 times, has 1 hit and a double, also 1 RBI. Left-handed batter fouls the ball off up on top of the roof. And 0-1 the count now to Dylan Paul, left-handed batter. Good-sized kid. He is 6 foot 6, 200-pounder from Texas Arlington. He's a junior. No balls, 2 strikes with a runner at first base and 2 outs here in the top half of the second inning. And there goes the runner, but swinging was Dylan Paul strikes out for out number 3. So no runs in the top half, second inning. 2-0 in favor of San Antonio. We'll be right back.
Hey, make it out every Friday of the NBC World Series this year. All college students will get free admission into the NBC World Series and will be offering $3 16-ounce Natty Light cans.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. We are now in the bottom half of the second inning as the San Antonio Angels are ahead 2-0 over the liberal Kansas Beejays. Up to bat for San Antonio will be the right fielder, number 12, Ryan Ramsey. Ramsey is from Coffeyville, Texas. He's a 6'1", 185-pounder. First pitch is the ball. And Ramsey has played in one game, has been up to bat one time, scored one time, and has an RBI. (3-0) the count now to Ryan Ramsey as Hamilton falls behind again, and he does walk the leadoff batter. That is the fourth walk given up by Jake Hamilton. Going to bring up the shortstop, number 11, Jack Wisniewski. Wisniewski turned a nice double play there in the top half of the second inning. Defense for San Antonio. First pitch is a strike. No balls, one strike now to Wisniewski. And here comes Hamilton's pitch. Bunt try attempt there by Wisniewski. Fouls it off. So the count goes to 0-2. And it looks like San Antonio was looking to move over the base runner to get him in scoring position, as they're already up 2-0 here early in the ball game. Now swing away is Wisniewski. Almost hit him on the hands, but he was able to fight that pitch off. So he hit it to the left side. No balls, two strikes. And here comes Hamilton's pitch. No, he goes to first base instead. A quick toss over there. Back safely was Ramsey. Stepping back is Wisniewski. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3 for out number 1 by Hamilton. It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 34, Ian Bailey. That is the third strikeout recorded by Jake Hamilton as he struck out the last two batters in the bottom half of the first inning and with bases loaded. There's a swing and a miss by Ian Bailey. So 0-1 the count now, as Hamilton now seems to be getting into a rhythm. Goes over to first base. He's got it picked off. Ramsey is in a rundown. Looks like he's going to be tagged out by Pearson. Looks like the umpire is calling him out. Now wait a minute. He might have called him safe because here comes the Liberal coach. Looked like they had him picked off, and then he might have scooted out of the way as shortstop. Pearson attempted to make the tag. And it looks like Ramsey might have jammed his foot on the bag. He's walking very gingerly on that left foot. And the umpires are going to call timeout to allow him to walk it out a little bit. So Ian Bailey now steps back in with the runner at second base. And they had him picked off at first base, but Ramsey just happened to move out of the way there at the last second as Pearson attempted to make the tag. One ball, one strike now to Bailey. And here comes Hamilton's pitch. It's missing inside. And there's a hard hit ball into left field. It's going to fall in for a base hit by Bailey. But Ramsey holds up at third base. Not wanting to test that foot out or ankle out that he jammed at second base. So Ramsey records his first hit of the game, and moving over to third base is Ramsey. And now batting for San Antonio will be the third baseman, number 13, Jose Diaz. First pitch is a ball. Diaz is from Converse, Texas. He's a 6'2", 190-pounder. And the count evens up now at 1 ball, 1 strike. As we have runners at first and third with 1 out here in the bottom half of the second inning. And San Antonio leading 2-0 over Liberal. There's a swing and a foul ball along the right-hand side. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jose Diaz. And there's Hamilton's pitch, swung and a miss there by Jose Diaz, as Hamilton records his second strikeout of the inning and the 4th of the ball game. That brings up the first baseman, number 40, Nick Hamill. Hamill reached on base in the first inning with a base hit. He hit the ball on the diving attempt by the second baseman, Tapia, who scored 2 runs, as Wisniewski came in to score and and Diaz came in to score. But it was left stranded at third base as Hamilton struck out the last 2 batters in the bottom half of the first inning. That pitch missing outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now to Nick Hamill. And the ball just slapped along the right-hand side, goes to Paul. Paul ditches over to Hamilton, covering first base for out number 3. So at the end of 2 innings of play, the San Antonio Angels 2 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 0. We'll be right back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you guys there. I was just checking out the NBC World Series' new app. You can find this app at the App Store. All you need to do is type in NBCWS to be caught up on all things NBC World Series.
NBC World Series, it all happens here.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. This ball game between the Liberal Kansas Beejays and the San Antonio, Texas Angels. The score is 2-0 as we head up to the top half of the third inning. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Leading off top half the third inning for Liberal will be the shortstop, number 11, R.J. Pearson. And there's a swing and a miss, foul ball. Correction, swing and a hit down the foul ball. Ball hit down the third base line. I don't think you can swing and miss and hit a foul ball, so that was my bad. Count goes to 1-1 strike. And another foul ball along the left-hand side. So the count goes to 1-2 strikes. As R.J. Pearson is up for the very first time here in this ball game. Pearson comes in batting .167, has played in 2 games for Liberal, has been up to bat 6 times, has 1 hit, 1 run scored, and 1 RBI. And here's the pitch by Jennings. It's Ryan Jennings is starting his third inning. He has thrown 26 pitches so far. That is fouled off now by Pearson. And the count is full now, 3-2. To R.J. Pearson. There's a strike. Call strike 3 for out number 1. As Ryan Jennings records his third strikeout of the ball game. That's going to bring up the second baseman, number 1, Jonathan Tapia. Tapia flew out to first base in the top half of the first inning. And the first pitch was a strike. And here comes Jennings' pitch. Call strike 2. In the outside corner. 0-2 to the count now. To Jonathan Tapia. Same pitch. Hit the outside corner. Call strike 3 for out number 2. And Ryan Jennings records his second strikeout of this inning. And his 5th strikeout of the ball game. Brings up the left fielder, number 37, Dane Simon. Simon reached on base in the first inning as he recorded a base hit, but was left stranded as Jennings struck out the last 2 batters in the top half of the first inning. Foul ball. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. To Dane Simon. And there's a swing and a miss. So Ryan Jennings strikes out the side here in the top half of the third inning. After 2.5, it is San Antonio 2 and Liberal 0. We'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back here at the Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. We are in the bottom half of the third inning as the San Antonio, Texas Angels lead the Liberal Kansas Beejays 2-0. And San Antonio coming up to bat in the bottom half of the third. Leading off will be the second baseman, number 1, Ryan Kincaid. There's a foul ball by Kincaid as he comes up swinging. Kincaid reached on base in the first inning as he reached on a base on balls, but was left stranded at second base as Hamilton struck out the last 2 batters. There's a ball hit to the third baseman. Diaz goes to first. Paul for out number 1. 5-3 the play. Well, brings up the designated hitter number 4, Garrett Wilkinson. Wilkinson also reached on base in the first inning with a base on balls, but was left stranded at first base as Hamilton did strike out the last 2 batters of that inning. Count is 2-0 now. And Hamilton now up to 51 pitches. So he had a pretty long first inning when he gave up those 2 runs. But more importantly, he had 3 walks in that first inning. Only 1 hit for San Antonio. And he walks another one. So Wilkinson goes to first base. That is the 5th walk that Hamilton has given up here in 2 1/3 innings. That brings up the left fielder, number 26, Dylan Stump. And call strike 1. So 0-1 the count now to Stump, a right-handed batter. Wilkinson takes a slight lead here at first base, and Hamilton comes in with a ball. So the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at first base with 1 out here in the bottom half of the third inning. And here's Hamilton's pitch. Calls strike 2 as he hits the outside corner. 72 degrees here in Wichita, Kansas, along the banks of the Arkansas River. Last night it was down to a cool 62 degrees for most of the evening. Those of you that did not stay up with us or don't know what happened yesterday, we had a nice ball game yesterday that went 13 innings, and we didn't get done till 3 o'clock in the morning, our 9:30 game, which started at 11:20 p.m. So we're a little lucky here tonight. And he's going to call. City Stump did go around, so that's going to be out number 2 as they checked with the first base umpire, Ben Harlow, and he called him out. Now batting will be the catcher number 15, Spencer Lloyd. Lloyd struck out his first time at bat as he ended the bottom half of the first inning, and he left the bases loaded. Check swing there by Lloyd's. Count goes 2-0. They check with first base umpire again, but said no, he didn't go. So 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs. And Hamilton goes to first base. Back safely is Wilkinson. Paul never even attempted to make a tag. And here's Hamilton's is fouled off by Lloyd. 2 balls, 1 strike now to Spencer Lloyd. And just missing outside. Count goes to 3-1 now. As we're in the bottom half of the third inning here in this ball game. And fouled off there by Spencer Lloyd. So he's hanging tough there at home plate. Nice little crowd here tonight. It's stuck around after the feature game, and that's ball 4 now to Spencer Lloyd. So he's going to take a walk to first base, and Wilkinson heads to second. And coming up to bat will be the right fielder, number 12, Ryan Ramsey. Ramsey's been up one time in the second inning. He started off the second inning with a base on balls. Was left stranded at third base. As Hamilton struck out the next batter, allowed a base hit, and then struck out the next batter after that, and then a 3-1 put out to leave Ramsey stranded at third base. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike now to Ryan Ramsey. And we have runners at first and second with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the third inning. And there's a pitch low and outside. So 2 balls and 1 strike now to Ryan Ramsey. And the next pitch by Hamilton will be his 70th pitch. And it's fouled off. 2-2 the count now. Matter of fact, deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 runners on base with 2 outs. And fouled off again by Ramsey. Both base runners reached on base on balls. And here's Hamilton's pitch, and that is fouled off again to the right-hand side this time. As kids scramble to go get an NBC souvenir. Two and two now. And there's another foul ball along the right-hand side. Paul chases that one, but it's going to be well out of bounds. Looks like a youngster made that nice catch down there. Kid in the yellow shirt. I'm sure it's a Shocker shirt. But he got underneath that and made the catch out in foul territory. Got a nice round of applause from the fans. So still count 2-2. And swing and a miss. And Hamilton strikes out 2 out of the 3 batters as he leaves 2 stranded. At the end of 3, it is San Antonio, Texas Angels 2 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 0. We'll be right back.
The wait is over. The multi-platinum award-winning duo Sugarland back on tour for the first time in 5 years. Still the same 2018 tour. Saturday, August 18th at Entrust Bank Arena. The undeniable distinctive sound of Sugarland with special guests Frankie Ballard and Lindsay L. Tickets are on sale now at selectaseat.com. Get ready for Sugarland.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. We are in the top half of the fourth inning between the Liberal Kansas Beejays and the San Antonio, Texas Angels. Now batting the third baseman, number 8, Tom Lichty, and he swings at the first pitch, flies out to stump in left field for out number 1. Brings up the right fielder, number 29, Brock Burton. So one pitch and one swing of the bat. We have one out. Jennings' first pitch to Burton is the ball 1. Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike now. And Jennings just reached the 41 pitch count. And there's a hard hit ball to the first baseman, Hamill. Makes the snag for out number 2. Nice job there by Hamill to snag that one for out number 2. Brings up the designated hitter, number 28, Jack Crowell. Crowell led off the second inning with a base hit, but then was hit into a double play by Thornquist. So that we have 2 down here in the top half of the fourth inning. And the count goes showing strike 1 up there, but I thought we had another toss in. It misses high there. See what our umpire gives us here. Yeah, that's correct. It was 2 balls, 1 strike. And misses inside. That one missing outside for ball 4. So Crowell will now reach first base for his second time here in the ball game. That's going to bring up the catcher, number 6, Nick Thornquist. Thornquist in the second inning hit into a double play, 6-4, 6-4-3. First pitch call, strike 1, the Thornquist. Oh, 1 the count now. Runner at first base with 2 outs. Here in the top half of the fourth inning, a hard hit ball along the third base line, just foul. Didn't miss by much. But home plate umpire, Josh Shippus, right on top of that one. So no balls, 2 strikes to Nick Thornquist. As Liberals trying to get something started here in the top half of the fourth inning. And there's a pitch up high. Two balls, 2 strikes now to Thornquist. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 3 by Ryan Jennings. It's the top half of the fourth inning. Liberal, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Instead of 3.5, it is the San Antonio 2 and Liberal 0. We'll be right back.
Leonard Skinner, last of the street survivors, farewell tour. Saturday, September 29th in Trust Bank Arena. With special guest, the Marshall Tucker Band. Leonard Skinner on their final tour ever. Tickets are on sale now at selectaseat.com, the venue box office, or charge by phone. Leonard Skinner playing in Trust Bank Arena one last time.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. We are in the bottom half of the fourth inning as the San Antonio, Texas Angels lead the Liberal Kansas Beejays 2-0. We start off the bottom half of the fourth. Will be for the Angels, shortstop number 11, Jack Wisniewski. Wisniewski reached on a error. And there's a ball hit to second base on one pitch. And we have one out as it goes to first for the out. Now batting the center fielder number 34, Ian Bailey. Bailey is 1 for 2 here in the ball game. He grounded out to the third base in the first inning and had a base hit in the second inning, but was left stranded on first base in that second inning. 1-0 the count now. Call strike one. Count evens out now to 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning for San Antonio. There's a hard hit ball down the left field line, but it is foul. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes now. To Ian Bailey. And Bailey steps out. And Jake Hamilton ready with the toss. Just missing outside. And ball gets away from the catcher as Hamilton goes inside. Fouled off there by Bailey.
That's a Pinnacle Realty Group foul ball. Pinnacle Realty Group, let's get you home. Check their website at cwichitahomes.com.
Full count now. And that another foul ball over the roof here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. And it's ball 4 as Hamilton just misses outside.
Wichita Federal Credit Union base on ball.
So Bailey hustles down to first base, and it's going to bring up the third baseman, number 13, Jose Diaz. Diaz reached in the first inning on a base on balls and scored as Hamill had a base hit along the right-hand side, and he scored from second base. And he struck out in the second inning, and this is his third time at bat here in the ball game. And it's 1-0 now to Diaz. That one is fouled off, so that's going to even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. And that pitch is high by Hamilton. And there's a fly ball into the right side, and it goes foul. As Brock Burton hustled down for that foul ball, but was not able to get to it. And Hamilton's pitch is high. So the count goes full now, 3-2. We have a runner at first base with one out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. San Antonio leading 2-0 over Liberal. And there goes Bailey, but ball 4 to Diaz, so he will head to first base. And Hamilton gives up his second walk of the inning. And now here comes coach for Liberal. Come out, talk to Jake Hamilton. And we are going to have a pitching change for Liberal. That's going to be it for Hamilton. He had 91 pitches in 3 1/3 innings. 47 strikes and 44 balls. 91 pitches total. It looks like it's going to be number 33 coming in for Liberal. Will be Jarrett Scott. He's a right-handed pitcher for Liberal. Jarrett Scott is from Des Moines. He's a 6 foot, 180 pounder from Olympic College, freshman. So he comes in to relieve Jake Hamilton, as he's done for the evening, who ended up with a total of 91 pitches. So we have Jarrett Scott now pitching for Liberal Kansas Beejays. And he's going to face Nick Hamill, first baseman. And Hamill fouls the first one off along the first base side. Paul hustles for it, but was not able to get to it. Scott has got runners at first and second with one out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. And call strike 2 there by home plate umpire. 0-2 the count now to Nick Hamill. And there's a fouled off by Hamill. The count stays 0-2. As San Antonio is looking to put some more points across. Get a couple more runs for security. Still got a lot of ball game left here as we're only in the bottom half of the fourth inning. One ball, 2 strikes now to Nick Hamill. Jared Scott, change up that flies it up to the first baseman. Catcher and the first baseman get under it, and the first baseman finally calls him off and makes the catch for out number 2. That's going to bring up the second baseman, number 1, Ryan Kincaid. Kincaid has reached in the first inning on the base on balls was stranded at second base. And then in the third inning, he grounded out to the third baseman as he led off the inning and made the first out. No balls, one strike now to Ryan Kincaid. And Jared Scott now in relief for Liberal. There's a foul ball along the third base side, goes into the stands. And a young kid gets the NBC souvenir. 0-2 now the count to Ryan Kincaid. And Scott comes in, and they're going to have a toss down to first base by Thornquist. Paul covering. And it got Jose Diaz off the bag for out number 3. So Kincaid will be coming back to bat next time that San Antonio comes to bat. We'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we're going to the top half of the fifth inning. And the score is the San Antonio, Texas Angels 2 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 0. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. We hope you enjoyed the telecast. Once again, now leading off for the Beejays, the center fielder number 21, Clint Allen. This is Allen's second time at bat here in the ball game. As in the second inning, he reached on a base on balls. Ball hit to the first baseman. Paul gets under it. Correction, not Paul, but that was Hamill. And out number 1, 3-1. Going to bring up the first baseman number 12, Dylan Paul. And the first pitch by Jennings is a ball. 1-0 now the count. As we're in the top half of the fifth inning. There's a hard hit ball by Paul to right field. Ramsey gets under it and makes the catch for out number 2. Brings up the shortstop number 11, R.J. Pearson. This is Pearson's second time to bat here in the ball game. He struck out to lead off the top half of the third inning. That's only base appearance here in the ball game. He fouls the first one off, so 0-1 the count now to Pearson. We have 2 down here in the top half of the fifth inning. And there's a call, strike 2. And down in the dirt there, Lloyd tried to block it. Now he's walking the ball out to kind of give himself a little time. A little breather, because that one was low and could have nicked him. So getting himself together. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here's Jennings' pitch. And that's fouled off over on the roof area. So the count stays at 1 ball, 2 strikes. And this next pitch will be the 60th pitch for Ryan Jennings. And he misses outside. 2-2 now, the count. And it's fouled off there by Pearson along the third base side. So we're going to stay at 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. And a swing and a miss, strike 3 for out number 3 here in top half of the 5th. So for Liberal, they score no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We'll be right back.
Never Ending Summer, featuring 311 and The Offspring. September 9th, in Trust Bank Arena. With special guest, Gym Class Heroes. Tickets on sale now at selectaseat.com or by phone at 855-755-SEAT. 311 and The Offspring. In concert.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th Annual NBC World Series, powered by Westar Energy. As we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning, and the San Antonio, Texas Angels lead 2-0 over the Liberal Kansas Beejays. San Antonio scored those 2 runs in the first inning. As the first 2 guys the first guy got on bat on an error and moved over to second base. And then that was Newski. And then Diaz reached on a base on balls and was able to score. Also, count is 2 balls and 1 strike now to Ryan Kincaid, leading off the bottom half of the 5th inning. 3-1 now the count. And Jared Scott has got in 2/3 of an inning so far, and it's ball 4 to Kincaid. So he takes the base. Going to bring up the designated hitter, number 4, Garrett Wilkinson. Wilkinson's been up twice and reached the base twice, both times on walks. And there's a swing and a miss, foul ball by Garrett Wilkinson. This game started about 10:06. And there's Scott's pitch is low and outside. So the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. And there's a toss over to first base. Kincaid back safely. Scott just letting him know that I have not forget about you. And there's a swing and a miss there by Wilkinson. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 for out number 1 here. That's going to bring up the left fielder, number 26, Dylan Stumpf. And the first pitch by Scott is called strike 1. Stumpf this is his 3rd time at bat. He has 2 strikeouts in the first inning and the third. And there's a swing and a miss by Dylan Stump, as Jarrett Scott is up on Stump now, 0-2. Scott tosses over to first base, and Kincaid's back safely. There's a hit out into left field. That's going to fall in for a base hit by Dylan Stump, and he's heading to second base, and he's going to be in safely. So a double by Dylan Stump records his first hit of the game, and Kincaid ends up in third base. That's going to bring up the catcher, number 15, Spencer Lloyd. So now we have runners at second and third base with one out here in the bottom half of the fifth inning, as San Antonio is looking to add some more as they're ahead 2-0. Call strike one now to Spencer Lloyd by Jarrett Scott. And Scott misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike now. Lloyd has been up twice, struck out in the first inning and ended the inning. Left the bases loaded, and he reached on a base on balls, but there's a base hit into center field. So Lloyd records his first hit of the game. 1 run scores. Kincaid coming in, and Stump ends up at third base, as Lloyd records his first hit and an RBI. That's going to bring up the right fielder, number 12, Ryan Ramsey. Now the score is San Antonio 3 and Liberal 0. And here's the pitch by Scott, just missing outside. So the count should be 1 ball. And there's foul ball there off the foot of Ryan Ramsey. Count should be 1-1, and the point streak is showing 1-1, but our scoreboard operator has a 2-2 count. But it is 1 ball, 1 strike now to Ryan Ramsey. We have a hit batsman as Ramsey got hit by Scott, so he goes over to first base. Lloyd moves over to second base, and Stump still at third, which brings up the shortstop, number 11, Jack Wisniewski. And Wisniewski swings at the first pitch, going to left center field. Center fielder makes the catch. Allen coming into home. There's going to be a play at the home, but Stump is in safely. Scores another run. So nice effort there by Allen to Thornquist, but Dylan Stump just beat that out at home plate to score another run for San Antonio. 4-0 now in favor of San Antonio. And now batting will be the center fielder, number 34, Ian Bailey, with runners at first and second. As the only one advancing on that play was the third baseman. There's a ball hit to the shortstop. Pearson goes to Paul for out number 3. But not before San Antonio scores 2 runs. So at the end of 5, it is the San Antonio, Texas Angels 4 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 0. We'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we're going to the top half of the sixth inning. And the score, the San Antonio, Texas Angels 4 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 0. Leading off for Liberal will be the second baseman, number 1, Jonathan Tapia. This will be third time to bat for Tapia. And he hits. Jennings hits him on the side, so Tapia will be going over to first base. Going to bring up the left fielder, number 37, Dane Simon.
Left fielder number 37, Dane Simon.
Simon has one out of the 2 hits that the Liberals got, as he had a base hit in the first inning. Struck out in the third inning, and this is his third time at bat here in this ball game. Jennings tossed over to first base. Tapia back safely. Tapia's got a nice little lead at first base, and there's a attempted bunt there by Simon, but he pops it up over the catcher's. All he could do was just look at that go over his head. So 0-1 the count. To Dane Simon. And there's a swing and a foul ball. Ball hits along the first base side. So the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. And that was fouled off, and Lloyd trying to recover from getting hit with that ball. Simon goes down. Out number 1. Brings up the third baseman, number 8, Tom Lichty. And there's a ball hit over the shortstop. Shortstop makes a great catch. That's Wisniewski. Jumps up and makes the catch in short center field for out number 2. Great play there by Wisniewski. Brings up the right fielder, number 29, Brock Burton. That looked like it was going to fall in, but Wisniewski jumped up just at the last second there and snagged that ball for out number 2. Burton the batter. Call strike 1. No balls, 1 strike with the runner at first base and 2 down now here in the top half of the 6th inning. One ball, one strike now. And a call, strike two. Brock Burton, a left-handed batter. One and two the count now. Here's a pitch just outside, tossed down to first base. Hamill, but Tapia is back in time. Toss there by Lloyd to Hamill. So the count is 2-2 now. And there goes Tapia. And the ball hit to the left-hand side. Shortstop is claiming, third baseman Diaz gets under it and makes the catch for out number 3. At the end of 5.5, it is San Antonio 4 and Liberal 0. We'll be right back.
Hey, baseball fans, I hope you're having a great time at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. KSN Storm Track 3 meteorologist Ronell Williams here with you with finally some good news. 79 degrees this evening with a mainly clear sky. I rarely use the word perfect, but I think this evening's forecast kind of fits that criteria. Staying mainly clear tonight while we cool back down through the lower 60s. Seeing 50s in a few spots now. Don't be fooled, even though it's going to be another cool start to your Wednesday tomorrow. We do have a hotter afternoon on the way, fitting for the first day of August, right? Highs right around 90 degrees. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and have a great evening.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. This game between San Antonio and Liberal. 4-0 in favor of San Antonio. Leading off for San Antonio will be third baseman, number 13, Jose Diaz.
Third baseman number 13, Jose Diaz.
There's a swing and a miss there by Diaz. Scott has gone, Jared Scott has gone 1 2/3 innings so far. Misses inside. There's a foul ball along the left-hand side there by Diaz. One ball, two strikes now to Jose Diaz. And Scott misses low, 2-2 now. As we are in the bottom half of the 6th inning here between San Antonio and Liberal. Jared Scott misses inside. So the count goes full now to 3-2. That was Scott's 33rd pitch as he came in. Ball hit to the shortstop. Pearson goes to Paul for out number 1. 6-3 put out. Going to bring up the first baseman, number 40, Nick Hamill. This is Hamill's 4th time at bat here in the ball game. Is 1 for 3 as he reached on base in the first inning. Grounded out to the first baseman with pitcher covering, and then flied out to the first baseman. Called the first one off. There's the ball hit to the shortstop. Pearson cannot get to it. Lichty dove right in front of him to try to cut it off, but was not able to get to it. So Hamill's going to be in with his second hit of the game. Now batting will be the second baseman, number 1, Ryan Kincaid. And there's a pitch by Scott, missing. Ball 1 now. 1-0 here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. And there's a fly ball by Kincaid. Pearson calls off Lichty and makes the catch for out number 2. It's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 4, Garrett Wilkinson. Wilkinson's 4th time at bat. He has walked twice and struck out his last time at bat in the bottom half of the 5th inning. There's a hard hit ball into right field. Burton backs up, makes the catch for out number 3. So at the end of 6 innings of play, it is San Antonio 4 and Liberal 0. We'll be right back.
The city's not just built, it's grown to the needs of people. You make the infrastructure, the muscle, bone, and circulation, so natural to the body of the city that you almost forget they're even there.
And we welcome you back here at the Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we're going to the top half of the 7th inning. We're going to have a pitching change. Now coming in to pitch will be number 32, Justin Lewis. For Jennings, he pitched 6 innings. Gave up no runs on 2 hits. He had a total of 74 pitches, 49 strikes, and 25 balls. So Jennings is done with 6 complete innings. He looks to be the winner here in this ball game. But coming in to pitch is a left-hander, number 32, Justin Lewis. He'll be facing designated hitter number 28, Jack Crowell. First pitch was a strike. Second one also a strike. 0-2 the count. Lewis misses outside. Justin Lewis, Sashi, Texas. He's a 6'1", 195-pounder. He's a sophomore out of Midland Junior College. And the count evens up at 2-2 now to Jack Crowell. And there's a ball hit to the shortstop. Wisniewski goes to Hamill for out number 1.
Catcher number 6, Nick Thornquist.
6'3", officially. Brings up the catcher number 6, Nick Thornquist. Thornquist is up for the 3rd time here this ball game. Hit into a double play in the 2nd inning and struck out in the 4th. We're in the top half of the 7th inning. As Liberals down to 8 outs, being down 4-0. And Lewis misses inside. 3-0 the count now to Nick Thornquist. And right before Justin Lewis made that toss, the umpire called timeout. Lewis was just a little quick on that pitch. And there's call strike one. 3-1 the count now. And missing outside, ball 4. So Thornquist will be on base. First time tonight. As it reaches on a walk. Brings up the center fielder, number 21, Clint Allen. Allen was on base with a base on balls in the 2nd inning and grounded down to the first baseman as the pitcher was covering for out in the 5th inning. And he's up there with a runner on first base now and 1 out here in the top half of the 7th. And there's a quick toss over to first base by Lewis. And Hamill made a quick tag, but Thornquist is in safely. Lewis missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike now. To Clint Allen. 2-1 now the count. We do have some action in the Liberal bullpen. And there's a ball hit between the first baseman and the second baseman, so Allen will get a base hit, and the ball goes through the Ramsey's out in right field, goes through his legs, and Thornquist didn't see that. Coming in to score is Thornquist, as that ball went right through Ramsey's leg, and Thornquist had stopped at second base thinking that the right fielder had the ball. By the time he realized it, Allen was already right on top of him. And he finally came in home to score, but it was close play down the line, but he was called safe. And so Allen is now at third base on a base hit. And we do have an error on the right fielder with 1 run scored now for Liberal. And now batting is the first baseman, number 12, Dylan Paul. Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike now. Right fielder Ramsey's stretching something out in right field. Don't know how he missed that, but that went right between his legs and allowed the Thornquist to score from first base. 2-2 the count now to Dylan Paul. And Lewis missing, low and outside. So the count goes full now with a runner at third base and 1 out here in the top half of the 7th inning. The score 4-1 now. There's a ball hit to the second baseman, Kincaid. Kincaid bobbles the ball and not going to be able to get to it. A run scores. Allen comes in from third base, and now that takes the score to 4-2. And I'm sure that's going to be an error on a second baseman. Second error of the inning here. It's Going to bring up the shortstop. Before we do that, here comes a coach coming out for San Antonio. Talk things over, try to settle them down here as we have two quick errors here in the top half of the 7th inning. Now the score, the San Antonio, Texas Angels 4 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 2. So Paul will be standing at first base. That error on Kincaid, the second baseman. The ball kind of hopped up on him and he was just not able to corral it and could not get a handle on it to get it over to first base. Now batting will be the shortstop, number 11, R.J. Pearson. As we're in the top half of the 7th inning, we only have one down here in the 7th. And here comes Lewis' pitch, missing outside. 1 ball, no strikes. And they're going to throw him out at first base. Nice move there by Justin Lewis. And the base coach is trying to say that there was a balk on that, but Ben Harlow's going to have none of it. And out at first base was Dylan Paul on that pickoff throw by Justin Lewis for out number 2. One ball, no strikes now to R.J. Pearson. Correction, 2-0. And there's a fly ball to right field. Ramsey goes back and makes the catch for out number 3. But not before Liberal scores 2 runs. So at the end of 6.5, it is San Antonio 4 and Liberal 2. We'll be right back.
Mount up, take off, and chase the sun. Experience more of what makes Kansas great. And let K-Tag help you get there. 236 miles of road, endless destinations of wonder. Start your adventure with K-Tag. Get your free K-Tag at myktag.com.
And we welcome you back here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. 2 runs were scored by Liberal. And now batting is the left fielder, number 26, Dylan Stump. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dylan Stump. And there's a check swing. They check with first base umpire. Says no, he's okay. So the count goes 2-2 now to Dylan Stump. Jared Scott starting 2 2/3 innings. It's a total of 43 pitches. Make that last one 44. And there's a foul ball. Count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Dylan Stump. Another foul ball by Stump. Temperatures drop down to 70 degrees. There's a ball hit to the short third baseman, Lichty, and he tosses it into the ground. So Stump is on. We'll see what the official score is. I'm sure it's going to be an error because Lichty had that in plenty of time, it looked like, from my view. Well, they're going to give Stump a base hit. Correction. That's why I'm not an official scorer. Brings up the catcher, number 15, Spencer Lloyd. First pitch is a ball. Two-0 the count now to Spencer Lloyd with the runner at first base. And Stump got a base hit. That's his second hit of the game. Second one in a row. He had a double in the 5th inning and scored. On a base hit by Lloyd. And there's the pitch by Scott, missing inside. 3-1 the count now. We are in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And ball 4 to Spencer Lloyd. So as he takes his base, that moves Stump over to second base. And the catcher, Thornquist, going out to talk to Scott. And Ramsey going over to talk to his third base coach. Coming up to bat will be the right fielder, number 12, Ryan Ramsey. We'll see if they play small ball here and try to move the 2 runners over as we're in the bottom half of the 7th inning with few chances left to put some runs across. They are going to try to move him over. He squares up, but it is inside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count now to Ryan Ramsey. Ramsey was a right fielder that allowed the ball to go between his legs, and a run scored. And there's a foul attempt. Up into the net area. So the count goes 1 ball, 1 strike. Ramsey needs to square up a little quicker here. And he does this time, but not able to get the bat on the ball. So now the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes with the runner at first and second. And no outs here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The score, the San Antonio Angels 4 and the Liberal Beejays 2. And there's a ball hit into left field. Simon hits back towards center field, makes the catch, and tagging up at second base was Stump. And he hustles to third base on that play. So nice job there by Dylan Stump tagging up. As Ramsey has an F7 officially. Brings up the shortstop, number 11, Jack Wisniewski, a left-handed batter. We have runners at first and third base with 1 out now here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Catcher Thornquist giving signals to the players. And there's a foul ball by Wisniewski. So 0-1 the count now. Second pitch is blocked by Thornquist, but it's low. 1-1 now. One ball, one strike. Runners at first and third with one out. Call strike two. So the count moves to 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jack Wisniewski. And missing outside is Jared Scott and high. He evens up the count now at 2-2. So we're in the bottom half of the seventh. There's a foul ball over the third base side. Count stays at 2-2 now. Jared Scott has officially gone 3 innings now. And the count goes full. 3-2 to Wisniewski. And a fly ball into Shallow's left field. Simon gets under, makes the catch, and hustles that throw in to home plate. Nobody goes, so they have out number 2 on an F7 officially. It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 34, Ian Bailey. Bailey has 1 hit. Base hit in the second inning. Grounded out to short, grounded out third, and reached on a base on balls here in the ball game so far. There's a ball hit to the second baseman. Tapia goes to Pearson covering second base for the force out. And that is the end of 7. The score is San Antonio 4 and Liberal 2. We'll be right back.
If we really put everything in our name that we do, it would look like this. Professional mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, telecommunications, civil, transportation, aviation, water, wastewater, energy, land development, planning, field services, survey, geotechnical, materials testing, inspection, 3D scan, air and water balance, engineering consultants.
And we're welcoming back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer, as we reach the top half of the 8th inning. And the score, San Antonio, Texas Angels 4 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 2. Up the bat, the top of the order for Liberal, second baseman number 1, Jonathan Tapia. San Antonio started with 2 runs in the bottom half of the first inning, and they scored 2 more runs in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And Liberal came back and scored 2 runs in the top half of the 7th inning to make it 4-2. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes on Tapia. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Out number 1. here in the top half of the 8th. Brings up the left fielder, number 37, Dane Simon. And there is a foul ball. Simon is 1 out of 3. Has 2 strikeouts and a base hit in the first inning. There's another foul ball by Simon. No balls, 2 strikes now to the left fielder, Dane Simon. For Liberal, as they're down to 5 outs. And there's a check swing there by Simon. They check with the first base umpire. Says he didn't go. So count is 1-2 now. There's a ball hit to the third baseman, Diaz. Diaz hustled in. Goes to first, Hamill, for out number 2. Going to bring up the third baseman, number 8, Tom Lichty. Lichty's looking for his first on base here. He struck out in the first, flew out to left field in the 4th, and flew out to the shortstop in the 5th. And the ball hits up the middle to the shortstop, Wisniewski. I believe we're going to have a base hit.
Right fielder number 29, Brock Burton.
Coming up the bat now is right fielder number 29, Brock Burton. Lichty does get a base hit past the shortstop. As Wisniewski knocked the ball down but was not able to make a play. No balls, 1 strike, and the ball gets away from Lloyd. Lewis with the wild pitch there. Going to second base is Lichty. Once again, the score 4-2 in favor of the San Antonio Texas Angels. They're trying to hang on, and Liberal threatening to put another run across here with 2 outs here. And there's a hard hit ball, but it's going to be foul along the first base side. Giving way there is Hamill, but not able to get to it. And the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second base with 2 outs. And the Liberal fans are starting to get into it here. And fouled off there by Burton. Count stays 1 ball, 2 strikes. And calls strike 3 for out number 3. Pitched on the outside corner by Justin Lewis. So at the end of 7.5 innings of play, it is San Antonio 4 and Liberal 2. We'll be right back.
Kansas Gas Service delivers natural gas to many of the companies you know, ensuring they have the energy they need to grow and build strong communities, providing cost-effective, safe, and reliable natural gas for a better tomorrow today. Kansas Gas Service.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we're heading down to the bottom half of the 8th inning. The score is San Antonio 4 and Liberal 2. Leading off the bottom half of the 8th inning for San Antonio will be the third baseman, number 13, Jose Diaz.
Leading off for San Antonio, third baseman number 13, Jose Diaz.
And a hard hit ball into left field. Dane Simon makes the catch for out number 1. Brings up the first baseman, number 40, Nick Hamill. Pitch by Scott, misses inside. 1-0 the count now. Jarrett Scott. There's a foul ball. It's at 66 pitches now. 41 strikes and 25 balls. There's a ball hit to the third baseman, Lichty. Lichty, another throwing error by Lichty, as that's how he started out the ball game in the first inning with Wisniewski. Hit it to him and he overthrew first base. So Hamill will be at second base on the error by the third baseman. And coming to the bat will be the second baseman, number 1, Ryan Kincaid. So we're at the bottom half of the 8th inning. Runner at second base with 1 out. Kincaid up the bat now. All strike 1. Breaking pitch right over the plate. And there's another breaking pitch, but down low, so the count goes to 1-1. About 70 miles an hour on that pitch by Jarrett Scott. Missing outside. 2-1 now the count. And there's a swing and a miss as the count evens up now at 2-2. Bottom half of the 8th inning. It's already after midnight, about 12:13. But I'm going to knock on some wood, and hopefully we don't get out at the same time we did last night. Our last pitch was at 3 a.m. in the morning as we went extra innings, 13 innings. An exciting ball game. That ball was foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Ryan Kincaid. Swing and a miss, strike 3. For out number 2. Going to break up the designated hitter number 4, Garrett Wilkinson.
The designated hitter number 4, Garrett Wilkinson.
And there's a swing and a miss, but the ball gets away from the catcher. And Hamill will now go over to third base. But the count's no balls and 1 strike to Wilkinson, with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. That last night's game, the final score was the Colorado Cyclones 6 and the Hutchinson Monarchs 5 in 13 innings. Actually, that ball game ended in 3 a.m. was the last pitch. And the thing about it is Hutchinson was up 4-3. There's a hard hit ball into center field. Center fielder gets under, makes the catch for out number 3. So we're going to go to the top half of the 9th inning. The score 4-2 in favor of San Antonio. We'll be right back.
This bud's for the dream and the people bold enough to pursue it. For those who come from nothing and rise to something. It's for those who take everything this country has to offer and make it their own.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. We're going to be in the top half of the ninth inning. We're going to have a new pitcher for San Antonio. Now pitching will be number 8. Well, he's wearing number 8. Let me see if I can find a name on that because it's not showing on my roster. So Justin Lewis is done. He's pitched 2 innings through 21 strikes and 14 balls. And like I say, number 8 is now pitching, and we also have now batting is number 28, Jack Crowell, the designated hitter for Liberal. So we start the top half of the ninth inning. Showing a Schreiber. Schreiber is the new pitcher for San Antonio. And it shows Jay Schreiber, but I don't have him on my roster, so I can't give you any information on him. But Point Streak is giving us that name. Count is 3-1 now to Jack Crowell. As we're in the top half of the ninth inning, and the score is the San Antonio Angels 4 and the Liberal Beejays 2. Schreiber's pitch is in for a strike. Count goes full now, 3-2. Schreiber pitches, misses high and out. So it'll be ball 4. So the first base batter is on base. And now batting. Looks like we're going to have a pinch runner. It's going to be number 4. Blake Brewster. Blake Brewster will be pinch running at first base. And now batting will be the catcher, number 6, Nick Thornquist. So Brewster's at first base on the walk by Crowell. And that's Jacob Schreiber, who is the new pitcher. Just found the full name. And a foul ball. Count goes 0-2 now. So Schreiber is trying to shut the door on Liberal. But he walks the first guy. Here in the top half of the 9th inning, we have a timeout. No balls, 2 strikes to Thornquist. Schreiber misses just high. 1-2 now the count. And Schreiber misses again. Okay, I just think I found out what the problem was. How come I couldn't find Schreiber? He's originally listed as number 21. Well, he's not on the roster, but he is on point streak, so that's all that matters. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Thornquist, and he misses inside, so the count's going to go full. As we're in the top half of the 9th inning, Liberal down by 2 runs, 4-2. They need some base runners. And here comes Schreiber's pitch. And the ball's hit into right field. That may fall in for a base hit. It does fall in front of Ramsey. Brewster heads to third base. And Thornquist is in with a base hit. His first hit of the game. So now they've got the base runners where they on base like they need it. So we got the tying run at first base. And now coming up to bat will be the center fielder, number 21, Clint Allen. We'll see how aggressive Liberal gets with that first runner at first. Remember, he is the tying run. So they need him across. So Liberal may be cautious with him. And I'm sure that San Antonio is worried about him and not the runner at third base. A ball outside there by Schreiber. Stopped there by Lloyd. The count goes 1 ball, no strikes. We have runners at first and third with no outs here in the top half of the 9th inning. And the Liberal fans are really into it now, making the most racket they've made all night long. Great support here by the Liberal Beejays. Count is 1-1 now. This is the loudest they've been all game long. Now the ball hit to the third baseman is foul off the Allen's foot. So Thornquist goes back to first base. And Lloyd goes out to talk to Schreiber. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. With no outs. And runners at first and third base here for Liberal. Looking to get that tying run across. But he's standing at first base. There's a ball hit down the first base side. It is fair ball. It's going to be extra bases for Clint Allen. Brewster scores. Thornquist stops at third base and in with a double. Clint Allen with an RBI double as 1 run scores. So we're going to have runners at second and third with no outs. And the score now 4-3 in favor of San Antonio. Well, Liberal has waited till the last couple innings. They scored 2 runs in the 7th and 1 run here in the 9th, but are threatening to tie the ball game. Like I say, the tying run is at third base, and the go-ahead run is at second base as we're in the top half of the 9th inning. San Antonio is changing pitchers. Coming in for San Antonio will be number 16, Mason Minister. He's a right-handed pitcher. Let me give you a little bit more information about Mason. He's a 6'3", 175-pounder from St. Mary's. College. And he's coming in to try to shut the door on Liberal. But he's going to have quite a task because there's runners at second and third base and no outs. He'll be facing Dylan Paul, first baseman, number 12. Paul has reached on an error to second base in the last time at bat in the 7th inning, but has 2 strikeouts to go with that. All right, number 16, Mason Minister, now coming in relief. And like I say, he'll be facing first baseman number 12, Dylan Paul. There is an open spot at first base with no outs. And the first pitch is fouled off by Paul. He was up swinging. There's another pitch ball hit to the first baseman. First baseman goes to second, and holding at third base was Nick Thornquist, as he wasn't sure whether Minister was going to get that ball first or whether Hamill was going to get it. So we have 1 out now. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, number 11, R.J. Correction, we're going to have a pinch hitter. Number 25 is Gavin Johnson. So Gavin Johnson will be pinch hitting for R.J. Pearson. And the first pitch is the ball by Minister. That misses outside, high and outside, so 2-0 now. To Gavin Johnson, the pinch hitter. 1 out here in the top half of the 9th inning. Runners at second and third base. The score 4-3 in favor of San Antonio. But Liberal is threatening here in the top half of the 9th. There's a pitch missing. So ball 4. And Johnson reaches on 4 balls. That's going to bring up the second baseman, number 1, Jonathan Tapia. Runners at first, second, and third now, with 1 out here in the top half of the 9th inning. Liberal down 4-3. And there's the pitch high from Minister. 1-0 the count. Umpire asked for the pitch clock to reset. There's a call, strike one. So the count goes to 1-1 strike to Jonathan Tapia. And here's Minister's pitch that's fouled off by Tapia over the roof here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. Now the count 1-2 strikes. Liberal kind of played it safe, Thornquist did not take off on that hit to the right side. As he was the tying run. No, 2 balls and 2 strikes now. And here's Minister's pitch, swing and a miss for out number 2. Minister comes in and strikes out Tapia. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, number 37, Dane Simon. So we have bases full. And Dane Simon up to bat. He has had 1 hit. He's 1 out of 4. So he had a hit in the first inning. He struck out in the 3rd, struck out in the 6th, and he grounded out to third base in the 8th. No balls and 1 strike. Correction, 1 ball and no strikes. There's a foul ball, and the catcher, Lloyd, tries to get to it, but it hits the net before he can get to it. So the count now goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Here in the top half of the 9th inning, the score 4-3 in favor of San Antonio. Liberal had runners at 2nd and 3rd with no outs. There's a ball hit to the left side, but it's going to be foul. So now the count goes 1-2. They had runners at 2nd and 3rd with no outs. And they were able to get a nice short. There's a call, strike 3, and that is the ball game. And Liberal will leave the bases loaded as they had runners at 2nd and 3rd base with no outs and were not able to get them in. So that is the ball game with the final score. The San Antonio Texas Angels 4 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 3. San Antonio goes to 3-0 in pool play. And I believe that will be it for Liberal as they move to 1-2 and will be eliminated here in the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series. So we want to thank you all very much for coming out. We hope you had a great time. Tomorrow's action, let me see if I can get that for you real quick. Tomorrow's action starts at 1 o'clock. We have get that real quick here. Got the San Diego.
And then the nightcap finishing off the day with the Hutchinson Monarchs and the Texas Prospects at 9:30. Hope you enjoyed your time here today. Don't forget tomorrow night is Armed Forces Night.
Well, it's not coming up. So look for your website there. And we hope to see you tomorrow evening. Once again, the final score, San Antonio Texas Angels 4 and the Liberal Kansas Beejays 3. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you.